Hi, friends. By watching this video, you'll find out which false stereotypes in the modern fitness industry are stopping you from getting results in your workouts because you listen to these lies from your trainer at the gym or even from a bodybuilding champion on social media. Your muscles aren't growing and your fat isn't burning off. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. I'm 50 years old now, and I have 30 years of bodybuilding training behind me. I've become a bodybuilding champion many times myself, but the journey was really tough. When I first came to the gym and started training my muscles, I was 19 years old. For several years, I went to the gym and trained my muscles according to all the rules of the fitness industry. You can find a similar story if you read the book Think Erased by Mark Burt, who couldn't build muscle for a long time, but then completely went against the myths of this deceitful fitness industry and started training as a true natural bodybuilder, and his muscles finally began to grow. But this problem is much broader. When you come to the gym, the fitness trainer will tell you that you have to perform exercises with very strict form, move smoothly, and gracefully lower the barbell. Slowly do the exercise in a controlled and fluid way, never swing, never use momentum, and never chase after heavier weights. But when we look at how the best athletes train, like Jay Cutler, we see that in almost every set, they use momentum, explosive technique, and cheat reps. And when Jay Cutler or Branch Warren are asked, why do you train like this with such imperfect form? They answer, I've always trained this way from the very beginning, and I'm very happy with the results, and I've never had any injuries because of it. And I've seen bodybuilding champions demonstrate that you can only get results by doing exercises with perfect controlled technique, but in their own training sessions, they always trained in a completely different style, actually focusing on getting results. For several years, I didn't see any results from my training because I rested for 1 or 2 minutes between sets, and because I did 12 or 15 repetitions per set. When I started, resting for 4 to 5 minutes between sets, doing a maximum of 8 reps per working set, focusing on increasing strength. When I realized that strength equals mass, that sarcoplasmic muscle hypertrophy doesn't exist, that feeling the muscle, the pump, the mind-muscle connection, and time under tension, all of that is complete nonsense. In numerous scientific studies, we see that the strength of powerlifters correlates with the amount of their muscle mass. By subscribing to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to learn plenty of tips and recommendations on how to build your muscles bigger without using anabolic steroids, bigger than if, for example, you went over to the dark side. If a person has never used the right training principles and starts training correctly, the increase in muscle mass and strength is much more noticeable than if you just start using anabolic steroids while training incorrectly. I trained naturally for 11 years. And when I switched to proper training, I gained about 20 kilograms of muscle mass. Then, many years later, when I was already over 30, I decided to try the dark side in order to compete in the World Bodybuilding Championship. And for that purpose, I consciously used anabolic steroids. Switching from natural bodybuilding to using steroids gave me a much smaller effect than switching from completely incorrect training, the kind recommended by the fitness industry, to proper, well-structured training with heavy weights, cheating reps, low repetitions, and long enough rest periods between sets. In other words, proper training will give you a huge advantage. Whether you train naturally or with the use of steroids, you will make much more progress. You just need to listen, subscribe to my channel, and I'll explain all of this in detail from my own experience and from the experience of thousands of students I've worked with over 30 years as a coach.